Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson from ZeldaDungeon.net, and you are watching our video walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks for the Nintendo DS. This is the 9th chapter of the walkthrough, and we have just completed the Fire Temple / Mountain Temple, which has restored the highest part of the Tower of Spirits. And before we head back there though, as usual, there is a lot of goodies we can now get, like some of the quiver upgrades for our newfound bow, awesome, and a few stamps, rabbits, gates, and also some very rare treasure. So if any of that stuff sounds fantastic, you can hang out with me for these first 3 videos. Otherwise, you can skip ahead to the 4th video out of 5, where I will move on to the Tower of Spirits. Okay, so there is a ton of collection stuff we can do at this point in the game. However, a lot of the stuff in the following videos leads up to things, so I kind of just try to put all of the related stuff together in each of those videos. And so what I'm trying to say is, this video will be a very short one covering a very small, optional, and somewhat unimportant thing. Meanwhile, the next 2 videos are crammed full. They're just super long and stuff, so there wasn't really a good way to break it up otherwise, so that's why. This video is very short, but the next ones are super long. So, on the left side of the Fire Realm, there is a station called the Goron Target Range. This is an optional minigame that was closed previously, but now that we've completed the Fire Temple, it's open for business. It costs 20 rupees to play, and will reward you with either rupees or treasure. There are no items or heart containers as prizes, so only do this if you really want to make some money. It's kind of a learning curve initially, and it is time-consuming, but once you have the patterns kind of memorized, you can make some serious cash here. If you're not interested in that, then just go ahead and skip to the next video. Alright, so I'm actually going to fast forward through this first run of the minigame because I will be explaining it in detail here in a moment. If you take a look at the map, you'll notice that part of the track is grayed out, and this is because they make you go through the easy portion first, and if you score at least 1,000 points, you can then unlock the second half of the tracks, and then you can do all of it at once. Which is much more difficult, but it allows you to get more points and thus better rewards. When you're playing on the harder difficulty, the first part of the track is the exact same as it was before. And regardless, if you score high enough, you will earn a prize, and the higher your score, the better your prize will be. You can get a choice between a large chest, which contains rupees, or a smaller chest that always has treasure. And ironically, the treasure can be sold for much more, so unless you need rupees in order to continue playing, it's much more beneficial to always choose the smaller chest and get treasure. So as I mentioned earlier, if you can score at least 1,000 points, this will unlock the rest of the tracks for this minigame, which takes much longer, is much harder, but we now have access to better rewards. So this time I'm going to be taking you through step by step and explaining each one of these sections and how to do it. This first area is really easy. None of the targets are placed funny, but just make sure you hit the red targets a full 3 times to get all of the points. As you go down this hill, you'll find your first Goron targets. You want to try not to hit them, obviously, because you will lose 30 points if you do so. The tricky part here is actually to make sure you wait long enough before shooting to hit the blue targets. Otherwise, you may actually hit the Goron target that you're just passing, because you have to keep in mind that the cannon shots travel, and when the targets are really close to you, it kind of arcs and goes up, so it could potentially hit that Goron target instead. Up ahead we have targets that spin. Now most of these have points on one side but a Goron face on the other, so you want to hit them as soon as possible when the correct side is facing you. Once you've played this enough times, you will memorize their locations and can begin shooting early so that they'll get hit as soon as they appear. At this corner you may want to wait before hitting these first 2 blue targets. It is possible but very difficult. The 2 after that though, you want to start shooting as soon as the Goron side is ending. Okay, don't hit this red target. It's really hard to hit that initially. Instead, it's better to look behind you and wait for it to rotate. Quickly hit it 3 times, then turn to the left really quickly and hit the other spinning target. This one is red on both sides, so don't worry about it turning around. Quickly move your camera to the left so that you can start hitting the balloons as soon as you come down here. You want to tap right in the middle of them and obviously avoid the Goron balloons. The position of these guys is random each time, so you'll have to adjust for where they are, and in general it is smart to focus on the earlier ones because at the end you can always turn around and shoot any stragglers that you may have missed. At the far end, don't hit this red target because it spins much too quickly. Instead, turn around and hit it as you're leaving it behind. The upcoming targets are the exact same way, and you'll have to turn left and right to adjust for where they are. Once you get to the blue target, quickly hit it and then turn your camera around to find more balloons. Again, their position is random and they do steadily move around on their own, and I honestly am really bad at aiming the balloons myself, and so it's by far the area of this minigame that I struggle with the most. Always try to hit the balloons closest to the beginning and leave the ones at the end for the last, because you can always turn around and get one last chance to hit a few more. Quickly turn around and prepare for the final hill. We have several blue targets, but we pass them very quickly. They're pretty easy though. At the very end, we have a spinning red target with a Goron face on the other side. I recommend you wait until it's turning back around, and you have to shoot it a little early so that by the time the cannonball hits it, it's already turned to the correct side. This may take a little bit of practice, and this one seems to spin around a little bit faster than some of the previous ones. Maybe that's just my imagination, but it sure seems like it. But you like barely have enough time to get all 3 hits off before it spins back to the wrong side. Alright, so that particular recording was one of my better scores. You only need to score 2,300 to get the best prizes, which is either a rare treasure or an extremely rare one, like the alchemy stone that I get in this recording. So I stuck around here for almost 2 hours just practicing, and then I went back through to actually record it, and I was doing so good that I just figured I might as well just keep going, so I actually stuck around here for a while. The amount of profit you make here is pretty crazy, although time-consuming. So I basically stayed here until I had enough treasure, all the treasure I needed to get the golden train set. So when you're all done playing around, go ahead and work your way back to Goron Village, where I will meet up with you in the next video to really dive into some of the collection stuff we can do in this chapter.